Hey guys, I just wanted to do a quick review slash ramble about these three watches. These are kind of my favorite type of Rolex. It's 5-digit solid end link watches, 40 millimeters or so, and these are all pretty similar actually. This was the first of the three that I had. It was my second Rolex. The first Rolex I ever had was a deep sea. It's kind of, I was into watches for a long time, but I wasn't into Rolex for that long. But when I did get into Rolex, I went for the deep sea for some reason, but I quickly realized that it was too big for my taste, and I kind of got into these older ones, and I just want to share some of my thoughts about why I prefer these older, kind of smaller models to the newer ones, the maxi dials and the super cases. I prefer these. These have pretty similar sized lugs, all three of these, even though there are differences between them. They are pretty similar. So when I had this, I really liked this one, which is the 16570 Explorer 2. But I thought that I didn't want to get it because the dials are so similar, the hands are identical, and I just thought they were too similar. But I ended up getting it anyway, and then this one, like, these are virtually identical. The cases are the same case, apart from, I guess, the hole for the click spring, but I think they're identical cases, they're identical dials except for the text, they're identical handsets, same movement, and everything else, the exact same bracelet code and everything. So these really are very similar, even though they make a different impression from each other, it's fair to say. But yeah, I just gave up trying to justify it, and I just got them anyway because it doesn't matter if they're similar or not. I like them, and this is what I prefer to have. I guess one idea I had to do this video is to kind of explain how I see why or when you might wear these, or why you might buy one instead of the other. So this one, the Explorer 2, I think overall is the most casual, even though it's like very sporty. It's very under the radar, and it's not that stereotypical Rolex. I mean, it is, but with the just full metal bezel, it doesn't scream Rolex the way these two do. This kind of screams Submariner, and everybody knows the blue and red screams GMT and just Rolex. Even if you don't know what model or why it's red and blue, those colors are copied so much. Obviously, the black dive watch has been copied so much. Not that Rolex completely invented it, but they pretty much put their stamp on it, and this is what most people copy when they do a sports watch or dive watch in black. This one is a little bit, I don't think people would notice that it's a Rolex as quickly as they would with the other two, because they're kind of a bit cliche, even though I say that myself. They are a bit cliche if you're honest, because, you know, this is gonna scream Rolex, like, hey, look, I'm wearing a Rolex, to a lot of people. It's not really, that's not why I got it, but it does kind of have that negative connotation to it, I think. They're like, oh, okay, this guy wants you to know he's wearing a Rolex, but I don't know. Everybody has to answer that for themselves, whether they want people to know they're wearing it or they just buy it because they like it. And then this is the 16600 Seadweller pre-ceramic. So the big difference with this one is the case is not the same as the other two. So the case itself, the mid case, is different. It's substantially thicker and kind of curves in a different way. It has a much more substantial case back, even though it's the same style, it's just thicker. And then it has a thicker crystal, which goes above a thicker rotating bezel than this rotating bezel. You can see there, it's pretty close, but everything's just a bit thicker. And I think the main reason they made the bezel thicker on this is because the crystal is much thicker. So if they had the same thickness of bezel, then the crystal would be sticking up even more than it already is, so it wouldn't look right. So this one is about 15 millimeters thick. I can't remember exactly what it is. It might be 15.5. And then this is right around 12 without the Cyclops. So this wears a lot slimmer. And so these two have the same crystals. Actually, these don't have the same crystals. This one isn't quite right. I don't know. I've looked, and some people say that there's inconsistency with the magnification across the board with Rolex sometimes. But it might just be an aftermarket crystal. I'm not sure. I did buy it used, but it's obviously a genuine watch, but it doesn't have the same magnification. It might be, they might just be from different production times, and there was just variance in the magnification levels, or this might be an aftermarket crystal. I'm not that concerned. Anytime you buy a used watch, you're gonna have to understand that it's gonna need a service. Unless you have service history papers recently, you should pretty much expect that you're gonna service it. So not that I do it a lot, but if I get one, I kind of enjoy it for a while and then realize you're gonna have to service it for everything to be okay. So if everything's not perfect, like you can just get it serviced, because you're going to have to anyway. So a new crystal isn't going to be astronomical. Anything really, the bezel inserts, I don't know if they'll give you new bracelets. I put this on a new bracelet because the one I got was stretched. This is like a very nice, not stretched very much bracelet that I got to put on it. I don't know if I sent in a stretch bracelet, if they would replace the bracelet, but you don't really want to do that because you want the complete set. So I keep the original bracelet that I got this with, and then just get a new one if you want it to be tighter, because it bothered me. It didn't look right. You'll get bigger spaces. These all have pretty good. Both of these are non-stretch bracelets. Although this one... Yeah, this one is missing one of the original 4. The new ones are just 3 that taper, but the old ones are 4. These all taper, and then these are the regular size, but this one is missing one of these. So I don't pay top dollar, so there's going to be little issues if you're buying used, but it doesn't bother me as long as it's all genuine and looks good. Then I'm okay with it, because it's just to be worn. It's not a piece of art. So anyway, that's just a quick video about these 3. I'd say this is the most casual and least strikingly Rolex of the 3. It's also very slim. Wears the best for sure of the 3. This is close, but if you see right beside each other, they're identical cases, but the Pepsi looks bigger. The bezel is a bit bigger because it sticks past the side of the case, where this is completely flush with the case pretty much. The outside of the bezel is bigger, and it looks bigger. It looks like it's a millimeter bigger watch kind of thing, diameter, even though they're identical in every other way. This one is going to be, this is just a bit more colorful. It just has more personality of the 3. So that's kind of like, I don't know, not necessarily special occasion, but just something if you want to have your outfit or accessories just a bit more interesting. And then this would be your kind of Submariner basic sports watch, dive watch. Like everybody knows, they're completely versatile in every way. You can, they're not, it won't be as loud as this watch, but at the same time it gives a great presence. It's like a beautiful watch, so it can be dressed up, and it has lots of personality, but it is more subdued. But it's more obvious and more noticeable, I'd say, than this. This would really blend in, like be super casual. If you just with jeans and a t-shirt, like nobody would be looking at your watch, even though they could tell it's a nice watch. I don't think most people don't even care about watches at all, but a lot of people who are looking at watches or think they're looking at watches might not even notice this, because it's just, and the numbers kind of aren't as noticeable up close. The text on the bezel is pretty prominent, but it from farther away it just looks like an all metal watch. So yeah, that's a casual, sporty, and a bit louder. That's how I'd say these. They're pretty similar, but yeah, there's my video. Thanks.